Alrighty, so there are three things that I think the All Blacks need to do to get to that next level. So we're 2 games into the season. Um, there's been some good patches, some very ordinary patches, um, but we're already starting to see the team slowly piece together. There's some players that you wouldn't leave out, but there's some players that I think we've got better options in New Zealand. So the first position that the All Blacks need to figure out is hooker. So we have two of the most damaging ball runners, in my opinion, in world rugby, in Samisoni Taukei'aho and Asafa Omua. Now, currently we have Taylor as our first choice hooker. He's Mr. Reliable. He's the experienced hand. He's a stalwart, right? He's been there. His rise to the first choice hooker for the All Blacks didn't always coincide with the best All Black teams, but he held the team together at times. He put in big shifts, and he had man of the match performances when it was needed most. So the reliability factor has been huge. Reliability at line out time and just all around the pitch in general. So that can't be understated. But this season, we've started to see a little bit of a change. He didn't have a great Super Rugby season. And then the first 2 games of the year for the All Blacks, he's had, against the French, plenty of sort of unforced errors. The line out throwing was a bit wobbly, drop balls, just uncharacteristic mistakes from Taylor. So you do start to wonder if time is sort of catching up to him as he is on the back end of his career, and one would assume with the All Blacks. Even against the Italians, that penalty or free kick he gave away when he was about 2 meters in front of Ruben Love as he restarted the game after that first Italian try. Little things like that. I mean, those are coach killers, and they're unforgivable for a guy of his experience. So now we look at Samisoni Taukei'aho and Omua. I mean, they were clearly the two best hookers in New Zealand this year. Omua, so damaging with the ball in hand and also in the tackle, right? He is a brute and he hurts guys. And Samisoni Taukei'aho was a cheat code for the Chiefs this year, for, the back of the maul. How many tries did he score from, a line out, like 5 meters out, joins the back of the maul and just, over whenever the Chiefs needed a try, really. So, he is another one who is super damaging with the ball in hand. And I just think having those two in your team just provides so much physicality, so much go forward when you need it, so much more bone-jarring defense. We need teams to be scared of New Zealand again. We need teams to get pulverized to the point that they want to give us the ball back. They want to kick it. They want to get it away because they can't make any meters because we've got guys just hammering them. I think the place that New Zealand needs to get to is where our two first choice hookers are Samisoni Taukei'aho and Omua. So the next 2 things that I've got down here as big key personnel changes in the All Blacks team that I would like to see happen to take this team to the next level are a little bit controversial because the 2 guys I'm about to mention are injured. But the first guy I think needs to be in this team as soon as he's fit is Leicester Fainga'anuku. Now, and it's not to do with his versatility. Yes, it's great that he can play at 7, he can play on the wing, he can play in the centre, I don't want to use him as a hybrid player. I want to use him, at centre. I want to use him as the 13, This is a highly debated position because, we've had so many centres in the last few years for the All Blacks, right? Ioane had it for a long time. Proctor finally got a look last year, didn't really take his chance. We had Tupaia, Anton Leonard-Brown. But for me, Fainga'anuku he's the guy we need. So to start with Rico, I think his time's up. He's a great defensive center, and we know that the center position is sort of a defense first uh, position, right? But his inability to create on attack, his decision making on when to give the pass and when to hold the ball it's just not up there with the level it needs to be the All Black 13. And I don't think him and Geordie Barrett they don't really complement each other well. I think Geordie is without a doubt our second 5'8" for the foreseeable future. So we need someone that complements him well, and I don't think Rico's it. Again, like Taylor, he's been a stalwart for the All Blacks through some tough times, and his D has never been in question. But the decision making going forward is a little bit of a worry. So Billy Proctor is another one who got his opportunity last year off the back of a big Super Rugby season for the Hurricanes. And he was a slow burner, right? He had some teething problems early on in that series against France. He started to get into it a little bit more as the season went on. His defensive reads got better, but he never really asserted, any sort of dominance into that position. He never really said, hey, this is my jersey. And he never really put in big performances where we were all like, Billy Proctor had an absolute outstanding game. He just hasn't done it. So, and I'm not saying he's not going to get there, but he's not there right now. On the weekend against Italy, he had that defensive lapse with his first involvement in the game, just falling off the tackle, a couple of other errors, and he's busy. He gets around the park. He's super busy, but it's not enough. It's not enough. Anton Leonard-Brown's another one who, for me personally, I've never really rated him. I've never really seen what he brings to this All Black team, but all the coaches do. He's been picked by how many coaches now for the All Blacks team, and he's played for Rennie at Kobe, and I'm sure he probably played for Rennie at the Chiefs as well. So they know each other well. So Rennie obviously has faith in him, and to be fair, on the weekend against the Italians, he had a bit of a spring in his step that I haven't seen before, or I haven't seen in a long time from him. So that's encouraging. Maybe Rennie's going to get the best out of him, and maybe we're going to see, a world-class ALB. But right now, he's not really in the equation for me as a starting 13. All right, so the last positional change I want to see made to this All Black team, and again, this player is also injured, but it's Caleb Tangitau. I look at this All Black team and I look for the pace, and I don't see it. We have Will Jordan, we have Morby, we have Caleb Clark. These guys, they have pace, but they don't have Cheslin Colby or Louis Bialet pace. They don't have the explosiveness that those players have. They don't have the ability to turn a game on its head. They can spot a half gap and they're straight through it. They leave players in their dust just with one step. We need that. And Tangitau is the closest we've got. We saw him do it for the Highlanders. I know it's Super Rugby, but that is the closest we've got. And we need that quality in this All Black team. We need a point of difference. A guy who can just break through a defensive line in the middle of the park, turn defense into attack, and basically to be able to attack from anywhere, which is exactly what Dave Rennie wants this All Black team to do. So I know we have a lot of options. We have Will Jordan. How do you fit Tangitau in? Because we have Will Jordan, we have Damien McKenzie, we have Josh Morby, Fehi Finianganofo. We have all these wingers. So where do we fit them? And I'm not going to get into that now. But there is a role for Tangitau for sure, whether that means he's on one wing with Will Jordan there, or Morby's at fullback, or Jordan moves to fullback. I don't know. But we need his skill set in this All Black team. It'll just give one more thing for their opponents to worry about. And he will be just super, super dangerous for New Zealand. And another tool in their toolbox that they can use to unlock some of these really, really potent defensive lines that you get from, say, England or South Africa or France. So those are my three things, guys. Cody Taylor out, Amua and Samasoni Takiaho in. Leicester Fainga'anuku, when he's fit again, get him straight into the 13 jersey. And Caleb Tangitau, another one. Once he's fit, get him straight back into the team. Three things that the All Blacks really need, and that I think will take this All Black team to the next level. Let me know what you guys think if you don't agree, or if you do agree. Any other positions that you guys would change, or do you think I'm just totally off the mark? Let me know, guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.